It is Monday, June 20th, and yet another ridiculously beautiful day to frolic in the woods.
Watch me frolic through the woods. I have a donkey.
77 degrees, little breeze going after an entire week actually of beautiful weather. I ended up not doing a video last week. I had some personal business in the beginning of the week last week, and then just did some relaxing at the end of the week. So enjoying the beach and things like that, the boardwalk, before all of the vacationers start to come down for the summer. And so I ended up taking the week off. It's amazing how much time I realize that gets spent making this, especially the post-productive part. The recording of it takes about half a day, but then the post-production takes a good 2 days between the editing and the animating and the things that I would think of to put in. That all takes place in the moment while I'm watching it back. I don't think of it while I'm walking out here, unless it's some stupid news clip that I'm talking about, or goofing on or something. Making fun of. But speaking of which, what a crazy week. What a week to be away when the entire stock market looked like it was about to crater into nothing, and the big moment has arrived. And if you are a viewer of Greg Mannarino's, you will see that one of the indicators, the main indicator that he often calls for, which is an uncontrolled spike in the 10-year yield that is consistent, which is what we had. We had a ridiculous amount of movement in a very short period of time. So it did look ugly, but then out of nowhere.
It's Tuesday, June 21st, 2022. Are you watching stock futures right now? People higher across the board. Now, this really shouldn't be that big of a surprise here. What we have going on is literally unprecedented. Yes, we've seen this before. What am I referring to? Central banks buying all the debt to keep rates suppressed. Okay. But in my opinion, what we are seeing now out of the European Central Bank, which is now stepping up its emergency policy to stabilize the debt markets, to stop the fragmentation of the debt market. What does that sound like to you? Okay, to prevent an implosion in the Federal Reserve here, now using, in their own words, this is not me, unconventional methods to keep everything stable. And all they're doing here is, again, creating cash out of thin air and getting into the market and buy the debt. Well, on the back of that, stock futures are higher across the board.
Central banks, mainly the Fed, buying up debt and causing and contributing to now the ludicrous amount of printing and inflation that's going to take place because of it. And of course, the crash in the cryptos came along with it.
Ah! Shit! Fuck me! Ha! Shit! What the fuck? I don't fucking know! Fuck! Stop screaming! Stop!
Some destruction of some, I don't know if it was an exchange, I guess, that held people's cryptos. I know it held various kinds, Bitcoin and certain ones, opposed to just the coin that it had. I think it was Celsius or something. And all kinds of people lost their cryptos in that catastrophe. But we all know that that is going to happen if you keep your cryptos in exchanges or third-party wallets and things like that. They often say, not your keys, not your cryptos. So the flattening and now turning around a little bit of cryptos by today, is starting to happen a little bit. Doesn't mean it's not going to keep going down. I, of course, know they will be going up at some point, but I also invest in the privacy coins for reasons of obtaining financial freedom in the form of fungible money, as they want to try to bring in this new system of surveilled digital money. So I don't give a shit what they do to suppress the rates and play their games. It will be what it will be, because if we don't have fungible money, we don't have freedom. So, you know, to me, it is an investment in freedom more than money. So anyway, but the realization is that crash was rather timely from that, we'll call it an exchange or a holding place, whatever it was, you know, third-party wallet. What I mean by that is you give them your cryptos to hold, and then they pay you like, you know, some kind of interest rate, like 10% or something, 5% or whatever it is, a year, whatever, to hold them for you. And then people, of course, get greedy and love that rate of return and keep their cryptos on there. Yet they do not realize that you, by doing that, don't own them. They do. And in that little terms of service somewhere that we all sign for every damn thing we click, it says in the smallest of print that if something happens, you're fucked. They can really put it in those couple of words. And there's nothing you can do about it.
We can put that check in a money market mutual fund. Then we'll reinvest the earnings into foreign currency accounts with compounding interest, and it's gone.
What?
It's gone. It's all gone.
What's all gone?
The money in your account. It didn't do too well. It's gone.
What do you mean? I have $100.
Not anymore, you don't. Poof.
Well, what can I do to get back
I'm sorry, sir, but this line is for bank members only.
I just opened an account.
Do you have any money invested with this bank?
No, you just lost it all.
Then please stand aside for people who actually have money with us. Next, please.
Hey!
Hello, Mrs. Farnickel. How are you today? Making a deposit, are we? Great. We can just put that into your retirement account and make it go to work for you, and it's gone.
What?
Sorry, yeah, that's gone. Please step aside for people who actually have money with the bank. Next, please.
Dad!
Hey, I'm trying to teach my son the importance of savings. You already lost his money? Oh, Mr. Marsh, don't worry. We can just transfer money from your account into a portfolio with your son, and it's gone. This line is for people who have money with the bank only. Please step aside.
And there's nothing you can do about it. They have the right to sell whatever cryptos they need to avoid the bankruptcy, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, this, of course, caused that crash in the crypto market. But I personally did not think it was, and I've said it even in videos prior to this, that it was time for that yet. But what the fuck do I know? It's up to them when they do it. All I know is that's what they're going to do eventually, to bring about fiat digital money in the form of cryptocurrency, Fed coins, and surveilled transactions. Also, though, policed and umbrellaed by a social credit system that is similar to the one that is already in China. That is a modifier of behavior, because if you don't do what you're told, you cannot partake in certain aspects of society if your points drop too low. And of course, that will also include any mandates that are drawn up by fictitious authorities all over the planet whenever they want, as we've come to see. You know, we see the treaty's been put off a bit, but it'll continue to creep on, you know. But the bottom line is, that being the goal, you know, ultimately, it didn't feel to me that they have hyperinflated the dollar enough to be at that point. So that's the only indication I had, that I didn't feel like it was time, but it could still happen tomorrow. I don't fucking know. Like I said, all I know is that it's what I believe their plan is, in order to move into the new monetary system, the Great Reset. But, you know, regardless, that's shit we can't control. We can prepare for on a small level, you know. You can see they ultimately have control of all of it. They can just slam down any commodities and equities and whatever the hell they want. You know, the entire market is suppressed and rigged and run by algorithms, you know, and basically has been on an artificially intelligent driven course for years now.
What if I told you there is a robot that controls more wealth than any country on earth? A robot so powerful that in the last 10 years, it has quietly created the biggest company in the world. This is the story of a robot called Aladdin. It's Wall Street's best kept secret, and it's gobbling up every asset class across every industry. Aladdin now controls $21 trillion of our global economy. To put that in perspective, that's more than the $20 trillion GDP of the US, or the $15 trillion GDP of the entire European Union. The New Statesman wrote, the total physical cash of all 7 billion people and every company, bank vault, wallet, and piggy bank in the world is around $5 trillion. Aladdin has grown into a system responsible for more than 4 times the value of all the money in the world. This one robot directs the actions of the US Federal Reserve, almost every major bank and investment fund on Wall Street, and over 17,000 traders. It controls half of all ETFs, 17% of the bond market, 10% of the global stock market, and carries out 250,000 trades every day and billions of forecasts every week. Year after year, it hoovers up trillions of data points on every market, every company, every asset, and now even each of us, what we buy, sell, and say, so that it knows what to buy and what to sell far better than any human being. Every major bank, company, and investment fund has come to rely on Aladdin and its all-powerful AI and algorithms to beat the market. And if they didn't, they've collapsed and failed in Aladdin's wake. And you know what the craziest part of this story is? This robot is just getting started. So where did Aladdin come from and how did it get so powerful? Aladdin is the brainchild of Larry Fink, the founder of Blackrock, and its total dominance has made his company the biggest shadow bank in the world and the most powerful company on earth. The story you're about to hear is equally unbelievable and terrifying. In fact, you would think it was science fiction if it wasn't very real and happening today.
And that's why, as you see, these businesses have become so profitable and powerful, you know. And these things are driving us towards their ultimate goal, you know. But again, you know, we can't control that kind of shit. The only thing we can control is our moral behavior within our own lives, you know, not complying with our own enslavement, not supporting immoral acts that cause harm to others, not ignoring it, turning a blind eye to it, speaking out against it, doing the things necessary to manifest right in the world as this tyranny encroaches, because it's going to continue to encroach under various ways, you know. So let me think, what other buffoonery can I show you? Here's an interesting clip I came across. And what is it that could cause thousands of cattle to drop dead instantaneously? Drum roll, please. You guessed it. Climate change.
Duh.
Oh my God, the buffoonery. It is a treat sometimes to watch some of it. It is funny, but it is just that, buffoonery. From the food shortages that will start to the money supply issues that will begin with inflation getting worse and worse, moving into hyperinflation. Again, the supply chain shortages that will begin rations. And of course, you know, the threat of every other psyop that they continue to run, the one that they continue to do over and over in order to disarm the American citizens. And there are people all over the place pushing for this. And, you know, the things that are occurring that are violations of our individual rights. The right to autonomy over our own body, the right to defend ourselves, the right to the written Constitution, as is, not to mention the references to the inherent rights that governments do not grant or have the power to take us away, that we are born with and given to upon birth by the creator of this universe, and have simply by the mere fact that we exist. By default, we have these rights. And realizing that we don't get to control each other, we don't get to tell each other what we can and can't do, what we can and have to wear, what we have to put into our bodies. You know, we don't have these rights, and we don't have the luxury of ignoring the mandation of these things, whether you choose to do it to yourself or not. But anyway, looking at my notes, believing I've covered pretty much everything I wanted to bring up. You know, the attack on our children is what this is all about, because they could give a shit about those of us that do get it or don't really. They want the mindset of the children to coincide with their ideology, and that's why this whole thing is targeted towards them and their way of life. So it is important for those of us that have a frame of reference to what freedom semi looked like, you know, 40, 30 years ago, to 40, 50 years ago, whatever, you know, to where they have brought it, and why lines must be drawn in order to save the freedom of our children and grandchildren from being ripped from underneath them. And if you don't think that's what's going to happen, you are lying to yourself, and you are closing your eyes to the obvious. So speaking out and not complying with our own enslavement is a responsibility to anyone who wants freedom for themselves, their children, and grandchildren in this existence to remain. So, you know, anyway, hope all is well, and we'll do another one soon. And get learning, get speaking.